Dear human being, beloved soul, I welcome you to my podcast series, Conversations with the Universe. After a near-death experience, my perception of our human existence changed profoundly. I became more sensitive, with all our known senses. I feel more intensely, see people with different eyes, and often take a different perspective on life and our challenges. In my books, I share these altered perspectives and all the knowledge that has flowed through me since my near death and thus record it. For all those who are searching for something more, for the meaning of our existence here on Mother Earth. And it is now a great pleasure for me to share this knowledge with you in this way as a supplement to my books. This season I am dedicating myself to my very first work, the basics of being. I wish you many wonderful insights on your path. Thank you. Love.
First, a quick note about my network, SPINE. This is short for the Spiritual Network and is the first global social media network for holistic knowledge, awareness, spirituality, and above all, a bridge between providers and seekers. I invite you to join us and connect with me there. Feel free to look around, find lots of podcasts, events, healers, but above all, lots of inspiration to grow. It's free. But now let's start with today's episode. Perseverance and persistence, the key to consistency. The first steps into matter have been taken, and the first forms are beginning to emerge. But creation is not a one-time act, not a brief spark, not an impulse that carries itself. Creation is constant giving, a continuous flow that can only unfold if you are willing to keep investing yourself in it. You have now experienced that your actions so far have changed something in you, not superficially, but profoundly. Your perception has expanded inexorably across all the past stages. Remember, even before you entered the first key, you were a different person. Your thoughts, your priorities, your inner focus were completely different. The first key led you to yourself and gave you the courage to start a new path, a path whose consequences you could not foresee at the time. But you went, step by step. And along the way, you learned about other keys, applied them, integrated them, and implemented them. As a result, your consciousness has shifted, reorganized, and sharpened. The fifth key now calls you into this new phase. It makes it clear to you that with your expanded consciousness, you must see your goal clearly, without evasion, without distraction, without negotiation. Everything you have learned so far has prepared you, but it does not release you from the task of now continuing on this path with consistency. You usually feel the need for the fifth key when you begin to question your own actions. You search for the meaning behind your deeds, for the reason behind your steps. A few weeks ago, this question would not even have crossed your mind, because all your energy had been completely focused on the birth of your idea. But now, this idea has taken shape. And with this shape comes a kind of exhaustion. The question of meaning, unobtrusive and at the same time relentless, confronts you and forces you to reflect. What has been created through you so far? What has been set in motion through you? What does it all really mean? Your consciousness has now grown to such an extent that you view your actions with completely new eyes. And that is precisely what leads to the feeling of being back at the beginning. Doubts begin to stir. Fears arise. Fate and circumstances begin to ask you, subtly or very clearly, whether you are really ready to move on. This is where you decide whether to continue on your path from your deepest consciousness or whether to slow yourself down. Be clear, the fifth key is not a gentle companion. It is a touchstone. It reminds you that the law of resistance is omnipresent. Resistance is not an enemy, it is a filter. It tests your will, your clarity, your goal. Not just once, but again and again. It keeps your consciousness awake. It forces you not to continue mechanically, but consciously, concentrated, determined. But nothing in this world can come into being if you do not overcome resistance. Resistance is a necessary fuel. It challenges you and thereby demands your strength, strength for what you do, strength for your path, strength for your creation. And this strength only arises when you act with all your heart, with complete devotion, with genuine trust. Resistance tests the strength of your will, but also the state of your inner strength. And you have already learned your strength is decisive for your actions. It is your creative power. The greater it is, the more you can achieve in this world. But strength can only be built up if your progress comes from a genuine connection with your heart. If, on the other hand, you have acted without this connection, out of fear, duty, or ego, then you will feel now, at the latest, that you have hardly any strength left. Your system collapses. Your motivation dries up. I know many people who are at exactly this point. They no longer have the strength to carry their own lives. They stumble through illness, exhaustion, and loss of meaning. But their bodies, the mouthpiece of the soul, are only trying to tell them that they have chosen the wrong path and never followed it through to the end. So life ends it for them. Through illness, through accident, through a forced break, everything that stops them is ultimately a hint to finally find the right path, the path of the heart. Only when you are connected, in your heart, in the flow to the source, can cosmic energy flow through you. It keeps you alive, clear, creative. If this connection is gone, you become a shadow of yourself, functioning but not alive. If you have repeatedly chosen not to decide, i.e., not decided at all, you will be forced to your knees now at the latest. The fifth key does not accept indecision. You are called upon to finally make a clear decision. You bear full responsibility for everything that happens to you, consciously or unconsciously. Be aware of your power to decide. Be aware of your responsibility. Make a decision, despite resistance, despite discomfort, despite the feeling that you are taking a wrong turn. Make a decision and don't wait for someone else to decide for you. There are obstacles in your path. They need to be removed, not dramatized, not ignored, simply removed. Maintain your playful nature. Deal with challenges lightly. Think in an uncomplicated way, but never lose sight of the seriousness of your goal. Only those who keep their eyes on the prize can successfully shape matter. Matter does not respond to impulses. Matter responds to repetition, consistency, persistence. The fifth key means that it takes many impulses, many steps, many decisions to truly create something in matter, to truly be a creator. Here again, we see the critical view of the world's religious representatives. In my view, most of them embody the fifth key only in its inner form, but not in its outer form. They cultivate retreat, silence, meditation. But hardly anyone talks about the fact that these inner practices are only part of the way. The long-term path is effect in matter action, implementation, manifestation, being here as a human being with the cosmic power of the divine within you and translating this power into matter. That is creation. Not in retreat, not in the temple, but here, in real life, in everyday life, in action. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to next time. Thank you. Love, Carpe Vitam. Thank you very much for listening, and I would like to remind you to join our community Spine. We are a community that wants to help you live a healthier life, practice your spirituality, and expand your consciousness. We help you find and connect with healers around the world, and we help you give your life a new meaning in different ways. We are Spine, connections that help.